Next on Belmont Park Live, it's a change of plans for Colton, Mississippi. He'll make his first dirt start since he tested the waters on the Triple Crown Trail back in February. She's delightful, looks like the standout in today's 8th. The main track only entrant looks to return to her form that's already put together back-to-back wins at Aqueduct. And we'll have the latest on the Whitney winner, Diversified, back in action in Saturday's Jockey Club Gold Cup. Can anybody catch him? We'll talk about that field and all the stakes action coming up this weekend. All that and more coming up on this edition of Belmont Park Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Good to have you with us as we kick off another week of action here in Elmont, New York. Here at Belmont Park, some important races coming up in terms of the Breeders' Cup over the next couple of weekends, as mentioned in the Open. We'll talk plenty about it. And we have a beautiful day on this Wednesday afternoon for some good racing here coming up. We have the late pick 4 ahead. And included in that sequence, the 7th race we're going to talk about in just a second here. Greg Wolf, former New York Med LA Dodger, Paula Duca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Sterling, the crew back together again today here. That 7th race, Colt and Mississippi. This is a horse whose stakes placed on dirt, graded stakes placed on turf. Now we see him in for a $32,000 claiming tag.
Yeah, it's a really tough read, Andy. You know, this is a horse that has had some back class. The 2 wins over the dirt, over 4 starts, are okay. But then all of a sudden in 2018, they decided to put this horse on the turf course. Maybe they ran out of conditions. I don't know what's going on here, but now the drop, and he figures in this group.
I don't think he's run that badly in a lot of his races, and I think it's a question of Todd Pletcher being realistic. Now, obviously, when you get relatively short prices and they're dropping down, you always want to be a little bit careful, and they're good horses over time to bet against, but I just think that Todd is being realistic. I mean, is he worth a little more than $32,000? Yeah, maybe, but how much? And somebody wants to claim him. Todd Pletcher's got a lot of horses. Colts in Mississippi is not the kind of horse that he's going to keep around for a long time. He's the horse to beat, but I'll tell you something. These races are off the turf. They're highly competitive.
Well, he's not going to be, I don't think, odds on in there. No. I think there's some other horses in there that are going to take some money.
We'll talk more about that race coming up. It is the 7th on today's card. We're off the turf all day. You can get sign up started, play along, and take advantage of that $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code Belmont Live and bet with Downright Bets any track, anywhere, anytime. Here's the races we have coming up. Late pick 4 starts in race 6. At 6.5 furlongs, $32,000 claiming event. Colton, Mississippi, will see in that 7th in the 8th. Now on the main track as well, and we have a couple of main track only entrants, but certainly She's Delightful there on the outside. Looks like she's going to be ultra tough in that spot. Weather and track conditions, they are presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pest gone, good and harrowed on the main track, and as I mentioned, off the turf all afternoon long. This is our first race coming up here. $32,000 claiming event. The Red Dude, our current favorite. It's time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfdale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Rockford, Greg, he is the type of horse that makes the horse racing world go round. Making his 55th start here, he has 12 wins to his name, and boy, does he show up nearly every time. At least he has in his last 2, and I thought he ran incredibly well at Saratoga, making that premature kind of move where the horse he battled with actually came back made that move with, came back and won, and he tired badly that day, and Rockford still hung on just to be run down by Imperatore, who will also, so looking at Rockford here in this race, I think he looks fantastic. He's sharp, he's healthy, he's all things you want to see from Rockford. But everybody taking to the Jason Service claim, and that is the Red Dude. Speaking of being game, he was just that. He was actually passed about twice in the stretch last time out for Ron Moquette. He looks great here, guys, but the concern I have with him is that I always feel as though horses graduating out of those condition races, non-2, obviously non-3, into these open races with horses such as Rockford that's won 12 races, well, the waters get just a bit deeper.
Pick 4 pool, $105,000 and growing. As our post parade here coming up in a moment. Horses making their way through the tunnel to the main track. And this is a good group here to start off this pick 4. This is a wide open race. Imperator, the 6 horse, 9-2 right now, and a horse who's been in very sharp form.
They can all win this race, Greg. The board is saying they can't, and it's all the Red Dude off the claim for Jason Service, but it looks open on paper.
We're going to kick things off with Bitumen, and there's the 4-year-old son of Mine Chapped. He was just beat a half length by Imperator in Rockford last start.
Our Saratoga Special is a 2-year-old, but he's been in good form since being claimed by David Dugan, and he's a horse who can win.
Rockford, one of my favorite series of all time, and I'm a big fan of the horse as well here. As Maggie mentioned, a 12-time winner for Bruce Levine.
Ran extremely well in his last 2 starts, too well to lose, losing by a head and a neck. You just wonder, is he going to keep putting those good efforts back to back to back?
8-5 favorite we're going to see next year. That's the red dude. It's Jason Service off the claim.
Yeah, when his horses usually take money from Mr. Dub, they usually run well, 8-5, but he is back in for the 32.
Service almost 40% first off the claim. Here's Nigel's Destiny, 3-1 for Jeremiah Engelhart with Joe Bravo.
Comes off an uncharacteristically poor effort, but he was wide against a very strong inside bias in his last start, giving him an excuse, and he drops, but still above the level they claimed him at.
And Imperator at 9-2. He was a winner last time out, and he moves to the Dermot Magner barn.
Yeah, 4th different barn and 4th start, and it seems like he's improved in each one. He cut back in distance last time and mowed down the field at Saratoga. He's going to need pace today.
And he runs well for whatever barn he's with, so you expect that probably to continue here this afternoon. You put together a pick 4. What'd you come up with?
Well, you know, I actually had 1, 3, 4, 6 in here. Actually didn't even realize, actually until I put the putt in, the 3 and the 7 got scratched over to all this race. So then 2, 4, 7 in race number 7, 1 in 15 in race number 8, Shanghai Dreams. The 15 draws in a giant draw, and she's delightful in the 8th race. And then race number 9, 1, 2, 7, and 9. Take a couple of shots with 1 and 2, but gravitating in Uncle Larry in the last. I would think your horse is a beat, as Pletcher will drop another one with the 9.
Familiar Silks we see right there. That's our favorite, the red dude, in large part because of this stat. Jason Service, first off a claim on a dirt sprint on the NYRA circuit the last 5 years, 35%.
He has just remarkable numbers. And the truth is, his last race really wasn't that good. He managed to be sort of on top of a fairly moderate pace, and he beat a field that was just sort of okay. He really has to improve on that effort to beat what's a pretty competitive field. But the stat says he figures to improve, and the money sure thinks he's going to improve. It's outrageous he's a heavy favorite, isn't it?
3-2. I mean, obviously those numbers very tough. This is a difficult field.
I agree.
And he's hammered in the doubles, and he's hammered in the pick 3s. It's crazy.
Well, we're going to take a look at Imperator back in action when he faced Rockford and Bitumen. This was back at Saratoga on September 3rd, so the top 3 finishers all coming back out of this race.
It's an evenly run race. I mean, you can see the 3 of them are hitting the wire together. 2 of them closed, Bitumen and Imperator, but Rockford hung in well in the front end. Maybe Rockford ran the best race of all 3 of them, but I think they all ran good races.
It was an interesting race. If you look at Imperator, this horse hadn't been around one turn since the last time was Belmont, the 1-turn mile in 1/16. And what happened? He won. Then he goes 6.5 furlongs, and what happens? He wins. So maybe that's the 1 turn is just key for him, and look for him rolling late. But I just don't know if there's enough pace in here.
My knock on him is that I like a horse turning back the first time. Sometimes they don't run as well in the turn back, and he ran a winning race 2 back,
yeah, he did
and just
too.
got a victim of pace where they sent a rabbit after him.
You know, this horse, very professional, as we talked about, whatever barn he has gone to. He's been popular in the claim box, and it looks like he's got his game face on again here today.
But you do have to ask yourself, and I'm not knocking Dermot, Dermot Magner, but he's relatively new, going out on his own recently, and while he had a winner, he's going against some tough old pros in the claiming game, and I think that's one of the questions with this horse.
Well, the biggest dropper in the field is this horse right here, Nigel's Destiny. 7-2 right now. He comes out of a $50,000 claiming race last start at Saratoga.
He did not run well, but he was 4 or 5 wide pretty much the whole way on a day that you really wanted to be on the inside. I'm not saying that's the only excuse, and that's a viable excuse for doing as badly as he did, and I think it's a question mark. But I like the fact that even though he's dropping, he's still above the price they claimed him for. They claimed him for $25,000, and he's running for $32,000. He's my choice in year off the trip last time.
He does have a couple, or at least a win here, a 2nd and a 3rd. Some good races over the strip. He was in for 12-5 at one time. He's really turned it around. If you look at his numbers, they went through the roof. And then, you know what, he was due for maybe a bit of a clunker last time out.
I like the way he looked. We'll see if we can get Maggie Wolfendale's thoughts here coming up in just a little bit as we look at Rockford. The one of many old veterans in here, Nigel's Destiny, Imperator, a couple of 7-year-olds. Rockford, a 7-year-old as well. It seems like he's been around even longer than that.
He is, wow, he's tough as nails, but I'm wondering now, Andy, if he's like 4 straight seconds, at least his closest efforts. He had a couple wins, but man, he battles and battles.
His last 2 races were absolutely terrific. I just worry. You get a horse that ran so well 2 times in a row that he should have won, could have won both of them, and then he loses both of them. Is he going to come back with a 3rd solid effort in a row?
You know, they took the blinkers off to a 7-year-old, and he lost them the same way he did the time before. I don't really know if it matters. He went fast fractions, I'll tell you that. 21 and 4, 21 and change. He's going to be part of the early beginning of this race.
Meanwhile, on the rail, Bitumen, he's probably going to be last early in this race, making a late run from that inside post there. Jose Ortiz aboard for David Duggan.
We haven't seen a track that's been super kind to speed as much as horses on the inside. We've seen some horses be effective closing. They've mostly saved ground, though. Listen, he's in good form for a good trainer. I didn't love him, but he's not impossible.
They've tinkered with him with the blinkers. They took him off 2 starts ago, and I think he just got a little bit lost. That was an off-the-turf event. Last time he was way more involved, and he kicked home pretty good. He can get some fractions. He might, I guess he'd be dead last in this group. Yeah, him or the 6.
He'll be last early.
He'll probably be last early. He's going to have to circle a good group. That's what worries you. And when these small fields, they go slow early, you know?
He's 4-1 on the board right now. This is a field full of professionals in here. Well, we're going to get Maggie's thoughts now on this 5. Here's Nigel's Destiny. Maggie, what do you think?
Well, guys, I'm sure you guys mentioned about coming off of a poor performance over a good racetrack. Now, he's getting a good racetrack here once again, but it is at Belmont. And really, I mean, yes, he's run okay races. That could win this over tracks with moisture in it, but is he really the most comfortable over these kind of surfaces? And 2 plus 6.5, we'll see how he negotiates that. He did get a warm-up by himself beneath Joe Bravo here, and he looked okay. He looks okay. I'm just not so convinced with him coming back off of that poor performance. So we'll see. Do they get aggressive with him? And I don't know if he is going to be fast enough to control here, as he does cut back a little bit as well. So a lot of question marks Nigel's Destiny has to answer, but at least he does have a win here at Belmont. I guess that's a 1 feather in his cap.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, sometimes these horses, they go up to Saratoga, they don't appreciate it as well, the track here, and it was a good track that day at 7 furlongs. We'll see. Andy's going with him here. He's down to 3-1 right now. This whole board closely bunched together between 2-1 and 4-1.
You slowly look at Nigel's Destiny's form. Okay, fast track. I know this is a Harrow track, but it's turning into a little bit of a fast track. Fast track races around 1 turn. His only clunker was last time, but that was a good service. You say Saratoga, but his other races are good. I mean, the $40,000 race is good. The allowance race is good. When he lost for 12.5, that was a good race around 1 turn on the fast racetrack. So he's going to be part of the pace, too. It's going to be very interesting what happens the first quarter of a mile.
He's got some tough runners in his running lines, too.
I like Nigel's Destiny. I mean, I just can't totally, excuse to being against the track last time, but he didn't run well, so that's always a bit of a concern.
Yeah, listen, J.S. Bach is very fast, and it's hard to get to the front end of that horse, and he just couldn't get there, you know?
Well, meanwhile, it's this horse who's been favored throughout in here. The Red Dude, those just incredible numbers off the claim, and he's kind of the young man in this race, along with Bitumen, the 1. But the Red Dude, the 4, he's the 4-year-old. Everybody else, aside from the 1, are 7-year-old old pros. So up and coming, perhaps. We know they improve. Jason Service off the claim. We'll see if he can get more improvement out of this one and try and collect his first victory here at Belmont Park. He was forwardly placed last time out. That has not usually been his running style.
He got left that day. You know, his issues, if you look at the 4, what can get him beat is that he has some gait issues. He usually breaks flat-footed. It doesn't really say he gets left.
He didn't get left last time. He did not get left
He sort of just broke flat-footed, then took off. So that could be his worry. Somebody can cut him off early or whatever, but that could be maybe the one thing that can hold him back here.
Some issues getting Rockford in there, but it looks like they have figured that all out. We're going to send it upstairs. The start of the late pick 4. Send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus, race 6 from Belmont Park.
They're all in line. They're off. The red dude broke well. Nigel's Destiny goes with the red dude, and Rockford is away running in third. Imperatore is fourth, and then comes Bitumen at the back of the pack. 5 lengths off of dueling leaders, the red dude and Nigel's Destiny. The two of them a neck apart as they head up the backstretch, and they've got 2.5 lengths on the pair of Imperatore and Rockford on the inside. Bitumen is 5.5 lengths off the lead after a 22.67 quarter. There's a half mile to go. And there's the red dude to catch. It's a neck advantage here on Nigel's Destiny as they make their way around the far turn. Imperatore is 2 lengths off of them. Bitumen gets going from fourth, and now Rockford comes under a ride and needs to do better. He's 6 lengths from the front. Up top, it's still the red dude and Nigel's Destiny past a 45.68 half mile. Imperatore is 2 lengths off of them, running in third, and then comes Bitumen. They're into the stretch. The red dude has moved away to a 2-length lead. Imperatore has taken up second on the outside as Nigel's Destiny gives way. The red dude and Arad Ortiz, a 1.5 length lead on Imperatore, and it's gonna be the red dude. The red dude wins it over Imperatore. Bitumen got third. Nigel's Destiny was fourth.
Play against Jason Service off the claim at your own peril, Hill. The red dude comes out with the 4th win of his career.
Yeah, and listen, the race was won right out of the gate, right? He went right to the front end, did Irad Ortiz Jr., and just took no prisoners. He took the 3 out of his running style. He couldn't even keep up. He took everybody out of their running style.
As I said to you in the race, I said the race was over, and he went from 2 to 1 to 7 to 5 as the gate sprung. And one thing Jason Service does is he puts speed into the horses off the claim. If you look at pace figures, the horse would have been in the back of the pack early normally. But for Jason Service, first time out, right the lead. And frankly, was this one ever in doubt, guys?
No, it wasn't. You know what? Imperatore, only one that really ran on. Bitumen a tiny bit, but man, I tell you what, Jason Service having some kind of year.
4-6-1 finish. He goes off as the 7-5 favorite to kick off the late pick 4. And once again, Jason Service off the claim. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for the winning ride. We'll be back with the prices from the Red Dude's victory here in race 6 at Belmont. Set up that 7th. We're at Colton, Mississippi, getting back to the main track and in for a tag for Todd Pletcher. Stick with us. More Belmont Park Live on the way.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and Horse of the Year Up with the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Now the excitement is building as his first foals have arrived this year. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a 1.5 length lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and our late pick 4 is underway. The Red Dude. Michael Dubb, Jason Service off the claim, wins again.
Yeah, congratulations to Mr. Dub in service. First dude out of Dixieland band mare, Lovin' Spoonful. Now 4 for 14 lifetime, and his Belmont debut is a W.
All right, Ortiz Jr. aboard for that victory. 4-6-1 finish. Let's take a look at the Naira bets. Late pick 5 following. There it is. So 4 and full to this point. Bon Raison, the red dude. Get it done. Standing by with the win machine, Maggie Wolfendale.
I'm sure he would like that nickname as well. But here with Irad Ortiz, and Irad, the red dude, he was fast out of the gate today for his first start for Jason.
Yeah, he break out of there. He breaks sharp, and like always, all of his horses, they break out of the gate. He's a good trainer doing that. And other than that, just hold it together, try to relax a little bit. When I turn from home, I ask him, and he responds really well.
Well, you're aboard another Jason Service winner this past weekend in the Gallant Bob, Frenze Fire, but one of the more memorable races because of what happened with Where She Told Me to Go and you. He tried to savage you.
Yeah, he tried, but thank God he don't get me. I think he went to the horse to probably get out of the horse a little bit, but my horse just fight with him, and they fight. They both are a fighter. Yeah. And I got a lot of success with Jason. You know, he helped me a lot, and I mean, we having a great year last couple of years. So hopefully we can keep doing it.
You've also had a great year with Chad Brown, too, and you'll be aboard Robert Bruce after the Arlington Million win in the Joe Hurst Turf Classic this Saturday. You were also aboard for his last word. Talk a little bit about that and how he's heading into this race.
He's a nice horse. I mean, he just got big one time. He's doing awesome. Chad do a great job with them. Chad is one of the best trainers right now in the ground. So got a lot of good horses, and he's ready.
All right, I like that answer. Irad, congratulations for today and this past weekend, too, down at Parks.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys.
So it took him, what, about 7 years to get 2,000? How quick before he gets 4,000? Half that time?
I would think so.
He's going to win, what, 650 races a year over the next 3 years? I mean, it's amazing that he's winning 300 races a year. And, I know he was riding in New York in the winter, and that really helped him over a period of time. And going to Florida, he'll win less races. So, in a way, it'll take him less. But, I mean, it's remarkable what he's done in 7 years of riding.
Race 7 here at Belmont. 7 furlongs, $32,000 claiming race. 8-5 favorite right now. Colton Mrs. Hippie briefly was on the Triple Crown Trail. We'll be back. We'll have this story as well. Good Magic, champion 2-year-old, calling it a career and off to stud. We'll have all that for you when we come back. Stay tuned.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York-bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
clear by 4. Bravazzo and on is second, but the champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance. Cruises home in the Betfair.com Haskell Invitational under Jose Ortiz.
Well, that was a 2-year-old champ winning yet another $1 million race. And with a retirement at the time of Justify, he became, for that moment, the clear leader of the 3-year-old division. Good Magic has been retired, and he is heading off to stud.
You have to think there's some sort of story, and he couldn't come back there for a long time.
Okay.
They couldn't run again. I mean, his owner, Bob Edwards, talked to me shortly before the end of Saratoga and said they had every intention of running him as a 4-year-old, and I have no reason to believe any different, and obviously something went wrong. He was a terrific racehorse. He'll be missed, but hopefully he'll do well at stud.
He'll stand at Hillendale Farms near Lexington, and going to stand for $30,000. Champion son of the 2-time Horse of the Year, Curlin. Chad Brown said, obviously showed incredible talent, durability. He put him through a very, very demanding campaign. Said one of the most demanding campaigns any horse he's ever trained, and still came up with that Haskell performance. So,
and it's the second
horse.
Second son of Curlin that Chad Brown has sent to stud after Connect last year, and now Good Magic goes, and we wish him well.
Yeah. Should mention real quick, too, Irish War Cry also sent off to stud. He's going to stand at North Free Stallion Station in Chesapeake City, Maryland. Breeding rights, of course, were purchased by a partnership that was led by Hillendale Farm back in May of 2017.
Wonderwood Memorial.
We're going to take a break. We will be back. More coming up. When we return, we're going to take you behind the scenes where the decisions are made on whether a horse victory should be upheld and whether any discipline needs to be handed out to the riders. A look inside the steward's booth when we come back.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I am Braulio Baeza Jr. And I am the Naira steward. Steward's job is to referee the sport and make sure the betting public has a fair shake. Our main job is to watch the races, so make sure there's no infractions on any of the races. There's 3 stewards in New York. One belongs to the Jockey Club, which is Jimmy Edwards. The stage steward is Steve Lewandowski, and I am the Naira steward. So New York is a little unique, where it has 3 different entities for the stewards. 2 of us watch the races live from the window, and one of us records it, watches on multiple screens. The stage steward shuts off the betting. We have a pretty good system here in New York right now. It's 6 live shots, and they all run simultaneously. So on the bottom level, we have what we call a 2-shot, which is shot from behind. The middle shot is a roving head-on, so it's constantly giving us a head-on. And then we have the pan shot right to the right. Okay, so sometimes the head-on won't give you the depth, so you look at the pan to see how far he is, or if he's clear enough to come over. We're looking for any kinds of infractions: intimidation, excessive use of the whip, anything cutting off or shutting off. So if people don't maintain a straight course, it's an infraction. There's 3 different kinds of objections or claims of foul. The trainer can lodge a claim of foul, the jockey can lodge a claim of foul, or a steward's inquiry. After the race is official, we watch the replays, and then we go back and we'll call one of the jockeys up on a direct line if we need to speak to him for an infraction, and we'll speak to them, let them give their explanation. Then we'll review the movie again, and we'll make our decision.
The stewards have disqualified number 2 Power Nap from 1st to 3rd for interference with number 1 Chamois in the stretch. Until we decide that the race is official and there's no infractions, the race does not go official.
And it's official.
Yeah, we're going off our eyes and the experience. A lot of experience in the stand right now. Jimmy Edwards used to be a jockey. Steve Lewandowski's been there for 30 years, and I've pretty much run the gamut, front side and backside. Of course, my dad was a jockey, so I watched racing since I was a kid with my dad, and it's just the best part.
1, 2, 3, 4, good number.
That is where they are perched here at Belmont Park. You know, Mike Smith made them work a little overtime his last few summers at Saratoga.
Think so? A little race riding, always tough because the technology hasn't caught up, and I think that the rule book is against them. So sometimes it's really tough for them to make the right call.
The 7th race, again, off the turf all day today. This is 7 furlongs, $32,000 claiming event. We talked about Colton, Mississippi in the open. Briefly was on the Triple Crown Trail. Getting back on the main track for the first time since that Grade 3 Withers back in Aqueduct. We're going to send it downstairs now to Maggie Wolfendale. It's time for a paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Well, Greg, Colton, Mississippi could arguably be the horse to beat on the turf and now here on the dirt, too, as he just gets that class relief, dropping in for this 32, restricted to the 3-year-olds. And, boy, he looks fantastic here. He is a horse that I have been confident in his chances and ability on the turf, because he does have more of a turf hoof overall, but he is proven enough on form to get back to the main track here. He looks sensational for Todd Pletcher. I really have no complaints with this horse whatsoever. Now, one that is taking a step up off the claim, off of pretty dangerous connections, is number 2, Take It to Scale. But I actually like him a bit more now that this race is off the turf. He did not run great, I'll admit, dropping in for 16, but he does look good here overall. And I just feel as though this might be the right situation for him off the turf event. We'll see what he can do. Physically, I do like his appearance. Now, number 4, Felix and Fabula, clever entering by his trainer, Robertino Diodoro, who picked him up last time off Danny Gargan. I feel as though, as his form would suggest, the 7 furlongs is the absolute ideal distance for him, as he has won and had a second out of 3 tries. He's a good doer. My man Felix, he carries some good weight. He does not miss a feeding, that is for sure. And he continues to kind of put that on, which I often like, but but I'm just a little concerned too because for one thing, I thought Danny Gargan would be able to instill a little more speed in this guy, and he didn't show it, but granted, that was a hot pace. So we'll see what he shows here today. Again, he is fairly quiet in the paddock. I'll pay attention to how he warms up out in the track, and if David Cohen does give him an aggressive warm-up, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thanks. Felix Infabula beat by American Power last time out, who's 3 for 6 for Linda Rice. This is a look at winning performance at Belmont at 7 furlong, couple starts back.
Yeah, I mean, he was over his head, especially sprinting 6 furlongs. He's better a little longer, gets 7 furlongs today. The problem with him against this field is that when he's been successful, those were pretty mediocre fields. And I think overall, even though it's off the turf and he's an MTO, he's beating tougher dirt horses today.
You see, he's not actually putting his foe away. He grinded to that win. You got to give him a little bit of credit at 7 furlongs, so you're getting the same distance, and he looks like he can stay close enough, obviously. Changed barns a couple of times. I love that Robertino Diodoro claimed him and now has freshened him, got him over here at Belmont, got a couple works into him, and puts him in for a reasonable spot at 32, and they claimed him for 40, so they can still make a little money if he gets into the winner's circle.
So he's on the board at 5-2. There's not a ton of pace in this race either. I'm wondering if it's maybe him.
Yeah.
Goes to the front in here.
Who the 4? I would think the 8 is probably the speed, double deep. I got to think he's going.
Meanwhile, take it to scale. He comes off a performance where he ran second at Saratoga at 7 furlongs, claimed out of that race by Mike Maker.
Horse that won this race was $1 million yearling purchase or 2-year-old purchase in for a small, short price. I thought he ran fine in here. Mike Maker kind of claimed to run him on the turf, but he's run better in the dirt, so he can win.
He's eating up money at the window, hasn't he? 4 straight times he's been the favorite. It's been disappointing.
Here comes our post-spread. We're going to see take it to scale to kick things off, and here he is. Again, off the claim for Mike Maker. Jose Ortiz will be aboard, and he's got a bullet drill coming in.
Yeah, he does. 1 out of 47, and he works well in the morning. See if he can convert to that same race that he had the last time he ran in the afternoon, and he could be a player in here. Felix
Infabula, we will see next. His only try at Belmont, that performance we showed you, the winning one at 7 furlongs.
Yeah, he's a 3-time winner in here, the most out of all of these Colts and Geldings.
5-2, now 3-1 on the board. Here's Malibu Strings, and it is Jomar Garcia in the irons.
Yeah, this is a horse fight. Malibu Moon claimed from the Pletcher barn, 1 for 4 lifetime, and right on that morning line. I know there's a lot of scratches at 12-1, but it feels like this horse is a rank outsider.
Even money on Colt and Mrs. Hippie, who is stakes placed on dirt.
He's a little overbet right now, and he'll probably drift up. He's faced tougher horses, taking a logical drop.
And double deep to the outside, 9-2. Luis Saez for Rudy Rodriguez.
They've tried blinkers. They've tried a lot of different things. So now they're going to go back to sprinting around 1 turn. He has not done that in a long time, ever since he was a maiden. So hopefully they can help him turn the corner.
This is the one everybody's got to beat here in this 7th race coming up. Colt and Mrs. Hippie getting back to the main track. And has faced much, much better company than anybody else in this field. It's his race to lose. We'll have it for you when we come back.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome in third. Shared Belief laboring back to in 5th. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Getting set for race 7 coming up here at 7 furlongs. And you can get signed up, started, and play along with Naira Bets. Use that promo code Belmont Live. Care, this makes me so nervous every time I see this.
Yeah, she ever go? I love that. The Alice in Wonderland.
Just don't want her to
Center
fall.
Park? I think she was fine.
Okay.
She fell into the Wonderland, actually, and she was just fine.
You can make horse racing your own
Mad
personal
Hatter.
wonderland. Take Naira Bets along with you.
Yeah.
I've been known to play in that area in the park.
Have you?
Not allowed around there with the children there, but other times. Near where I live.
Colt in Mississippi. There he is. He is even money on the board, and this is the easiest field he has likely ever faced in his career, aside from maybe when he broke his racetrack for the first time, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, listen, you got to be careful with short prices. I'm never going to knock somebody, I'll put it that way, that bets against a short price drop down. Because there's always a reason they're dropping. But I think if you look at his form, there's really nothing wrong with it. He's been running against better horses, and I just think Todd Pletcher, who's got an awful lot of horses, has to be realistic with a horse like this. And if you're an owner, it's time to move on. He's likely going to get claimed. He's much the worst to beat, but I don't think he has to win here. There are others here that can run.
This horse beat a 5-horse field at Gulfstream Park West. That's the second win. The first win was, I want to say, like a 60-some-odd buyer in a maiden special weight. But other than that, there's other horses here that can compete. I mean, not for this horse to be even money.
I agree. Even money is too short, and you think he'd come up. I agree. Are you at all worried the 8 double deep? I think could wire the field. There isn't a lot of speed in here. And, you know, we saw that Rudy Rodriguez win with an off-the-turf horse the other day at a big price. Yeah. And you look at this horse, right, and you start looking at his dirt races. He'd actually been running okay in the dirt. And while Diodoro had him for one start, he was in a very low percentage barn before that. And he was running figures that are close. They're a little slow, but they're close. Then he goes to Rudy, and he runs arguably his best career race last time up in Saratoga, chasing a pace that fell apart in the turf. But now he goes to the dirt in a surface he's handled the past. First time in the dirt for Rudy Rodriguez. What if he gets to the front and is able to cut a pretty slow pace? Why can't he win here?
If he gets to the front, he will win here because he has all that bottom with all those 2-turn races.
Who's fast on paper here?
There's not much. The 2 or the 4, maybe.
5-1 right now on Double Deep with more on this runner. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Andy, I'm glad you brought up some reasoning of why to like Double Deep, because I was kind of searching through the form and I felt the same thing. And Rudy arguably is more of a dirt trainer anyway, and he kept him on the turf and made him run, had him run okay on the turf in his last start. And for me, watching these horses warm up, he was the one that was moving the best, hitting the ground the best out there, and there is an argument to be made that this guy might actually be more of a dirt horse, and maybe Rudy is the one that is going to bring it out in him, and we'll see if he can clear from that outside post position. Now, number 4 is Felix and Fabula, the one intended to run on the main track here, and I had mentioned, well, I'll get back to you and report on what I see out on the main track and as to what kind of warm-up he got. Well, David Day did take him away from the pony, but complete lack of energy from this guy. I mean, he's so quiet. He's getting a little bit more on his toes as they head behind the gate. But still, you know, maybe things set up for him. I don't know. But the thought process of Diodoro putting a little more speed into him, it could be there, but he's definitely not showing it at least. Greg?
All right, well, he is 5-2 on the board right now. What about, you know, we mentioned the bullet drill from Take It to Scale, the 2. As a result of that, could he show some speed?
He's never really had a lot of speed, this horse. He was a little bit faster last time. It was a pretty moderate pace. But he's off the claim. You never know. Sometimes a new barn, the trainer will put more speed to him. But remember, in his case, Mike Baker seemed to want to take him to the turf. Sort of interesting because the worst race he ever ran was in the turf, right? Not his worst. One was in a muddy seal track, but both he has 2 dry track dirt races that are better than his turf race.
Yeah. Maybe what's rank in that race? Maybe just have an excuse and let's try it again.
He also may have seen the weather report and said, "I'll take my shot in either surface," right?
It's not like the Colt. Listen, I understand Colt Mississippi's been facing better, but it's not like he's fleet-footed early.
What will happen early in this race that could decide this thing right out of the gate? Colton, Mississippi, the 7, even money favorites. Taking a big drop down in class for Todd Pletcher, Joel Rosario aboard. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Colton, Mississippi goes into the starting gate at even money, and Double Deep will be the last one to load here. Steps forward and in. They're all in line. They're off. A slow beginning there for Felix and Fabula. Colton, Mississippi goes out to the front with Ticket to Scale on the inside. These two out to the front. And now Felix and Fabula, who was a step slow to begin, rushes through on the inside into third. They're followed by Double Deep in fourth. Malibu Strings is trailing the field, just 3.5 lengths off of Take It to Scale and Jose Ortiz, who run by this opening quarter mile in 23.57 seconds and lead Colton, Mississippi by 1/2 length. Double Deep is third on the outside. Felix and Fabula fourth on the rail and 2.5 lengths from the front, just ahead of Malibu Strings on the outside. Around the far turn, Take It to Scale 1/2 length. Colton, Mississippi coming under a ride in second. Double Deep is third to the outside. Felix and Fabulous 2 lengths off the lead on the rail. And still at the back is Malibu Strings. 46.75 was the half mile as they arrive at the quarter pole. Take It to Scale continues to lead the way. Colton, Mississippi under a drive in second, and coming through an opening on the inside is Felix and Fabula. After that, it's Malibu Strings and Double Deep. There's a furlong to run, and Take It to Scale keeps on going here. Take It to Scale by 2. Felix and Fabula second on the inside. Colton, Mississippi is third, and Malibu Strings, and they're coming down to the line, and Take It to Scale takes them all the way. Felix and Fabula was second. Malibu Strings got third, and then Colton, Mississippi.
Take It to Scale on the lead. Every step of the way gets the job done here at 2-1.
The race was won at the start. When an aggressive ride by Jose Ortiz got the front and Take It to Scale. Colton, Mississippi ran on his flank. He had absolutely nothing. This horse was able to set a slow pace and dominate.
Yeah, he did. And the 4 was second best by far because that gray got left and was able to sit a good trip. So he sucked up second, but he got left and was second best by far. And Colton, Mississippi's going to end up running off the board here as the 6 at 25-1 will spice up your nice little trifecta.
Never hurts to get a little lucky with this one here because Felix and Fabula right next door, yeah, he did not get out of the gate sharp at all. As we keep our eyes focused here, post 2, the 4 horse.
Great call by Maggie. She kept saying, listen, can't instill speed into the horse. Well, the horse obviously has some gait issues or not, but she kept saying, listen, the horse might show speed, might not, but I just don't see it. But when you don't get out of the gate like he did today, and if you look, last time he was 8 of 8. Before that, he was 6 of 6. So he's had some gait issues before, and it plagued him again today.
2, 4, 6, 7. Take It to Scale gets the job done here at 2-1. He just kept on going here. No one up, really making up any ground here. Mike Maker off the claim. Jose Ortiz, 3 Diamonds Farm. And we'll have these prices for you when we come back from a short timeout. 7th in the books, and an even money favorite defeated here in the 7th race. Our 8th up next. We'll set the stage for that when we return.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. Race 7 at Belmont in the books. Take it to scale, on the lead every step of the way. For 3 Diamonds Farm, Mike Maker off the claim for the victory. Jose Ortiz pilots this one to the winner's circle.
Yeah, congratulations. This is the gray, excuse me, the gelding Lance and Mischief out of the Silver Train mare. Silver prize, 2 for $5 lifetime, and that pick 3, $28.
Go downstairs to Maggie.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by winning pilot Jose Ortiz aboard Take It to Scale. And Jose, Take It to Scale, he broke very sharp today, and track seems to be playing well to that kind of style.
Yeah, he broke really well, and he was the speed on the race on paper, so I didn't think it twice. I sent him to the lead, and I'm glad we hold on.
Some bittersweet news coming out over the weekend with Good Magic retiring your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. And I think everybody rode that race with you as you were mic'd up. Take us back to that day.
Well, the horse was doing really well. Chad bring 100%. He was still a maiden, but we had a lot of faith on him. And when we hit the 3-way pole, I was sitting in a lot of horse, and when I asked him to go, he responded beautiful. I mean, it was very emotional because I knew if I win that race, I could probably clinch the Eclipse Award. So it was very emotional because of that too.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing some of his babies, but you'll be aboard another Chad Brown runner come this weekend, Jockey Club Gold Cup. You'll be aboard Gronkowski, getting back aboard him after the Travers. And on paper, Jose, this horse looks to be littered with speed horses. I'm sure you were kind of licking your chops, so to speak, when they drew this race.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of speed on the race. We got 2 horses from out of town. We got Mendelssohn, we got Thunder Snow. They're pretty good too. And I mean, I'm gonna try just to ride him confident, and I know he's a really nice horse. He liked the track already, and we're expecting a big performance out of him.
I'm looking forward to seeing him as well. Jose, best of luck. Congrats here, though.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see if the big Gronk can get it done in the Jockey Club Gold Cup against Elders this Saturday, Greg.
Well, that state's debut, when we saw him here at Belmont Park, that young man, Chad Brown said, gave that horse $1 million ride, and he certainly did. Did not get out of the gate well, saved all the ground, and he made things at least a little interesting on Justify.
No doubt about it.
First split tiny second. He thought he actually was the winner.
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about Gronkowski and that Jockey Club Gold Cup field coming up a little bit later on in the show. Here's the Nyra Bets late pick 5 follow along. So Take It to Scale, 680, but does beat an even money favorite. That will help things a little bit here.
Got a lot of tickets alive, and I would think people are 2 deep or even 1 deep in here.
It's shocking that the 1 is favored in doubles over the 15 in this race. You would never have thought Shanghai Dreams would be favored over the 15 horse.
Yeah.
She's delightful.
125 and change. The 1 won last time in an off-the-turf event by many. But Andy makes a great point when it comes to She's Delightful. This is a main track only horse, basically, and she's got 2 wins on the main track. And she really does lay over this field, and nothing against the other guys, but the 1 has Joel Rosario, and the 15 has Jose Ortiz.
Now 4 to 5 on that outside main track only run. Our show brought to you each and every day in part by Run Happy. Breeders' Cup Sprint winner back in 2015. Earned an Eclipse Award, beat 4-time Grade 1 winner Private Zone in that race. Edgar Prado said afterwards, probably only been on one other horse in my life who ran that fast and wasn't breathing hard after. That was Barbaro. Incredible performance. He said similarities were very close between those 2 runners. It's time for another edition of Jock Talk. Rajiv Mirage, we're going to get to know a little bit better. He's going to be riding another main track only runner in this race, the 14, Carlisle Bell.
Wow, my favorite win, I would have to say, was my first Breeders' Cup win on Caleb's Posse. It was like my biggest dream come true. I've always been such a big fan of the Breeders' Cup, and before I started riding, I always said that I wanted to be there one day, so that was really such an enjoyable win for me. My favorite part is I'm living my dream. I'm getting to do something that I love to do every day and having fun. And it never feels like work for me. And I think that's something that I think is a dream come true, and it makes it so much exciting for me. My mom calls me Raji Poo. Well, nobody else really has a nickname for me. Well, there is a nickname, but it's not really appropriate, so I'm not going to say it. Real Madrid is the team that I support as a sport team. I follow them pretty strongly. Yeah, so I watch Homeland as my TV show. I watch a lot of TV shows that I like. Homeland and Shameless, I would say, would be two of my top choices. And if I'm going for another comedy, I like Modern Family. So those are my TV shows. I can't live without my wife. Angie, yes, I can't live without her.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome to Belmont Park Live. If you're just tuning in on MSG Plus, good to have you with us here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, and Maggie Wolfendale with you here on this Wednesday afternoon. In our 8th race here coming up, where we have a main track only entrant on the outside who is taking all the money right now. That is, she's delightful. This race off the turf, Jose Ortiz will be aboard. And right now, 4-5, as we expected in this spot.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, when you looked through this field, the credentials lie with the inside and the outside, the 1 and the 15. There's just no doubt about it. But
the surprise is the one is favored multi-race bets. The 15 is supposed to be favored. It's very
15 is more of a main track only horse. The one won an off the turf event was not much in there. Yeah, a little surprising. Maybe we will space out a little bit more. Maybe the one will be 2-1 by the time they go in the gate.
Well, there's She's Delightful. So this is the horse who is the 4-5 favorite right now. She did put together back-to-back wins. It came at Aqueduct, the end of her 2-year-old campaign, beginning of her 3-year-old season earlier this year. And this is a look at that January 19th win first time in against winners, and she'd cross the wire first again.
At the end of the day, if you believe in speed figures, she's not running any worse since this effort. She's just running against much tougher horses. And off the turf, she gets great class relief. Let's give credit to Connections if She's Delightful and Carlisle Bell as well for entering MTO. I mean, we have nothing but rain over the last 3 months. There was rain in the forecast, and nobody wants to enter a race with a pretty substantial purse, $65,000, $66,000, and these Connections are taking advantage of it, and it's hard to believe she'll be worse than second.
She has a dangerous quality, and the dangerous quality she has in an off-the-turf event is she can pass horses. Most of the time in these off-the-turf events, the horse will get to the front end, and the race is over. You just showed she went by horses. When she broke her maiden, she went by horses, so she can rate a little bit and pass horses.
Meanwhile, the other main track-only entrant, that's Carlisle Bell. Rajiv Mirage will be aboard here for Gary Siaka. Her only win, it's pretty dominant, but it came on a sloppy racetrack. It came against New York-bred 30 maiden Claiming, and it came in a mile.
She's too slow to win this race unless both the 1 and 15 fail to show up. On the other hand, maybe one doesn't run the race and she finishes second, and she gets $13,000 for second, or maybe she gets $6,600 for third. That's not bad for running around the track in a race that, not surprisingly, came off the turf.
Well, the co-favorite, I guess slight second choice right now, it's this runner right here. She's quick, and her first try in the dirt, it was a race that was washed off the turf. She won by 5 1/4 lengths to break her maiden.
Beat a very, very weak field. The horse who was second, Grand Banks, ran an off-the-turf race earlier, and she's probably around the 8th pole right now. And as good a job as Robbie Falcone, the trainer, does, he claimed this horse from George Weaver, who's no fool. Now, having said that, she's the other horse in the race. I'm just surprised she's the favorite. She's going to be favored in all likelihood.
Yeah, I think she's the favorite because they think she's going to get to the front end. Yeah, the 8 Forever Daisy does have a little bit of speed. Carlisle Bell in the 15 don't really. She's Delightful does,
gonna be right there.
Does have some speed. But I would think Shanghai Dreams is going to be sent from the get-go, and that's what I think the public's looking at. And if somebody's able to challenge her early, and that's going to be somebody else. I don't know if it has to be the 15, but someone's going to have to challenge her early for the 15 to go by.
She's the other horse, but I'm just surprised she's favored. To me, it's
14 minutes post here in the 8th coming up. We're going to check in now with Maggie Wolfedale, who put on her riding boots this weekend for charity.
That's right. Joined by Gabby Gaudet as well down there at Plantation Field. We did in support of the Retired Racehorse Project, but got to give props to all the horses that competed as well as my competitors. Gabby and I on the same team. She got to ride 8 Too Fast to Catch, Maryland bred multiple stakes winner, taking nicely to his new job. And I rode good old Jaeger, the TV pony you guys saw me doing jockey interviews on, and we only had 2 weeks to prepare for this, so we were a little green to say the least, but we made it through and couldn't be more proud of my boy Jaeger, all for a good cause. So a lot of fun down there in Pennsylvania this weekend as we'll turn our attention to horses in the paddock for today's 8th race, and we'll begin with the inside runner. That is Shanghai Dreams, who broke her maiden in the off-the-turf event last time out, and she'll be back on the main track here once again for her new Connections. Rob Falcone Jr., who does very well with his horses off the claim and really not seeing any difference. And whether that's a good thing or not necessarily a bad thing, we'll see. You know, I would have preferred to see her back on the turf, as I'm sure Rob would have as well, but still, she's focused as she was last time. Her weight, her coat looks super here, so she's a very, very viable contender, though she's gonna have to deal with the outside runner in number 15. She's Delightful, who I will say that accompanied by her pony once again is this time here at Belmont, and it may have just been a product of 3 starts at Saratoga and all the energy that just goes on there. It will be unsettling to some horses, so therefore she's a lot more calm here and relaxed in the paddock here at beautiful Belmont. And she looks great too. Probably one of the best times I've seen her in both respects, mentally and physically here for Bruce Brown, and it's a pretty ideal spot here, Greg, in this off-the-turf event as an MTO.
Well, that man right there might hold the keys to this race. Joel Rosario, speed from the inside, even money on his mount, 3-year-old filly Shanghai Dreams for Zilla Racing Stables. We're going to have the post break. Talk more through this 8th race here coming up as we approach the 10-minute mark to post from the 8th on Belmont Park Live.
Pushes back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the
Some of the light reading we do when we're off air. The greats of Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah.
No?
Or the skates. What's the one? The skates, right? There's the. That's the
Humpty
famous
Dumpty, right?
story. I think that's right near my apartment. I don't feel like Riverside Drive.
I read that book called Durif.
Daily Racing Form?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a great book you should read. Read that baseball book I was talking about. The Shift.
I'm going to read that, actually.
Excellent book.
Because
highly recommend.
people are starting to get away from the shift again.
Well, it's not about the shift as much as the difference between sabermetrics and just the personal element and stuff. It's a terrific book.
And I want to read it when you're done. Here's our post parade for the 8th. Here's Shanghai Dreams. Should be showing speed from that inside post.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's right. They got to try to get out and try to wire the field. Not like she set a fast pace last time. We'll see.
Tiffany's Freud, 20 of her 26 career starts have come on the turf. The only time she won was on the grass.
Yeah, she's 0 for 3 on the dirt to put the blinkers on. This is just a complete unknown here at 18-1.
So we saw the 1, we saw the 2, and with scratches, and we now move to this one here, the 8 here. Forever Daisy for David Donk.
Got one race on the form that she can put her somewhere. I mean, it's the win at Aqueduct when she broke her maiden.
To the main track onlys, that's who's left of 14 and 15. So Carlisle Bell, we'll see next. Rajiv Mirage will be aboard for Gary Siaka. Again, her only win came going longer, and it came in a sloppy track.
My friend Steve Bix, DT Stable, he just Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates. He just texted me.
Really?
That's Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
It all ties in together.
Yeah. You listen to At the Races, right? It's the greatest, his radio show.
Absolutely.
It's a tremendous show.
Yeah, you got to listen to that if you're
best.
involved deeply in this game. Even money here on this one. She's delightful. Jose Ortiz, Bruce Brown.
I think She's the horse to beat and supposed to be favored. It'll be interesting to see who ends up favored between She's Delightful and the horse down in the rail, Shanghai Dreams.
All right, we're 7 minutes away here from this 8th race. Coming up, we're going to send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And joined by trainer of number 1, Shanghai Dreams, Rob Falcone. And you're looking to strike twice here for Zilla Racing, as you had a nice winner for them over the weekend. And going back to Saratoga, grab this gal out of a 3-way shake. How pleased were you to get her that day?
Yeah, we're excited to get her today. She, you know, the dirt was questionable first time, but she won over nicely. So it may not have been the strongest field, but she won nicely, and she's coming around nice.
And obviously you would have liked to seen her on the turf here today. Do you just feel as though that's probably your better surface, or can she be competitive with the likes of She's Delightful on the main track?
I think she'd be competitive with her on the main track. You never know, obviously. You know, I think she definitely would be better on the grass, but I think she could keep up with her on the main. So
showing speed from the rail, that's where you want to be. Will she be able to do that?
Yeah, she should be able to. She's pretty sharp lately, so I'm pretty sure she'll pop out of there and go.
All right, Rob, wishing the best of luck. See if you can get another Zilla win here on this Wednesday card.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll see if Shanghai Dreams can go back-to-back.
Yes, we will, and it will be with another race that was scheduled to be on the grass and taken off. That's how she broke her maiden last time out and did so by more than 5 lengths. By the way, I got it wrong, not Humpty Dumpty. I didn't even realize
Humpty Dumpty
Emperor's New Clothes.
That's
even from a story that he did?
Really? It's a great story.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate in modern times, too, isn't it?
Princess and the Pea?
If you say so. 5 minutes away from the 8th race coming up.
Humpty Dumpty's Mother Goose. How could you not know?
I know, I'm sorry.
That's embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
Really.
That was bad.
Paul probably should have hit you in the head when that bee was on top of you.
Been thrown off our game a little bit today, yeah, because of an intruder on set. So can anyone in this race go with this filly? These compact fields, you don't want to let anyone get away.
Let me tell you something. Shanghai Dreams is not that fast. Now, maybe she's going to have more speed for her new trainer, but, I mean, yes, she had the lead last time. They went 23 and 147. Let's not get carried away. I think She's Delightful is going to be right in her tail.
The 2 could show speed. I mean, she was putting blinkers on and showed 21, 22 speed, 45 on turf.
I don't think she can show speed.
But I just don't know if she likes the dirt,
Forever
obviously.
Daisy could show speed.
Forever
The
Daisy
8.
actually wired a field almost basically when she broke her maiden. The 1's not clear-cut speed in here, but
she's got to go from the rail and in this field and off the claim and all of that. But we're not talking. She's only run twice, so who really knows? You know, who she is truly. But it's not like she ran particularly fast in her last race.
Well, the even money favorite by a slight margin because the 1 at that number as well, but favored to the outside of the main track only. She's Delightful. There she is. Jose Ortiz, Bruce Brown.
You know, speaking of Bruce Brown, his son Nicholas is with him, and Nicholas is a great kid. I think Maggie should do an interview with Nicholas. Now, he's been sat in the booth with me a few times at Saratoga.
How do you do?
He's better than me.
He did some handicapping?
No, he's young. He's working.
Okay.
I'm grooming him. I'm bringing him along
Nice.
slowly.
All right.
Great kid.
Meanwhile, Carlisle Bell. It's like a
Good
small
balance
filly
behind
here, huh?
Yeah, she's a tiny little filly. She needs pace to run into. She's going to be dead last in this small field of 5.
But on the other hand, she's not going to find a $66,000
No.
purse where
you're right.
She's around the 3rd to 4th choice, and as I said, even 4th money is like $3,000. I mean, I don't understand why more people don't think about these rent or MTO. So they run in the turf, you don't run. But I mean, a horse like this, she's getting a chance. I mean, and she could be 2nd or 3rd in here and get $13,000 or $6,000. It's a lot of money. It pays a lot of bills.
Takes time to look at the condition book. Some people don't want to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, MTO, man, it's the way to go. We just not enough people thinking in that direction. And with all the rain we've had at Saratoga and here, there have been plenty of missed opportunities.
It can result in something, too, you know? Christophe Clement had a horse called Red Vine that was an MTO for 2 times in a row. And then, boom, next thing you know, the horse is a Grade 3 winner on dirt. Actually, it was turned into a nice
Red
horse.
Vine?
Yeah.
For Christophe Clement?
Yeah.
It was a very good horse.
And he was a main track only to begin his
Very good
career.
horse.
So, you know, sometimes it works out that way. You give a horse a little confidence.
Well, there's a look at Rosario again. He'll be on Shanghai Dreams. So, yeah, we don't know a whole lot about this filly. She's only started twice. Her only dirt start was last out. She beat probably not much in that field. It was taken off the turf. So we'll see what happens here. She's 4 to 5 now.
I think it shows how the game has changed, where there's so much focus, and I'm not saying this is wrong, but there's so much focus on horses off the claim, right? And Robbie Falcone's a little under the radar, but people who follow New York racing know he's very good. He went to California last winter, did very well, which is an extremely tough thing to do. Just ask David Jacobson. But I think the claims, people really hone in on horses off the claim.
Ask Andy, and you shall receive. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
That's exactly right. Andy asked for Nicholas. I got Nicholas Brown. That's right. I got the connections. And Nicholas, so glad you could join me here today. You've been asking to do an interview with me for like 3 years now.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, you have, but you're always at your dad's side. And she's delightful in here. What do you think of her chances today?
She's gonna win.
Ooh, that's confidence if I've ever heard it. Now, 2, your mom is great at coordinating outfits. I know she made you wear this. Why?
I don't know.
Because of the colors, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your mom, Jen, she's very good at coordinating. Your twin sisters are in pink and blue as well. Now, what's your favorite part about racing?
The horses.
Do you like being in the barn?
Yeah.
What, do you think you could ride one day?
Yeah.
Or would you rather be a trainer?
A rider.
Ooh, a rider. You better stop eating then. No, I'm kidding. But Nick, thank you for joining us and wishing you the best of luck.
You're welcome.
All right, that's right. Future stars down here on the rail, and they're always watching as a family here. So always like to catch up with the Brown family. And Bruce, he did say that he does feel as though she's delightful. Guys, might be a bit better here at Belmont. And that's the same way I think, Greg.
I like the color coordination. He's a tough interview.
He was.
He's a great kid. He's a little shy, I think, being on camera, but he's a great kid. Really.
There he is. He's got an award-winning smile.
Yeah, Michael Maker answers, but he was smiling.
Nick watches the show. Nick watches the show almost every day, by the way. Let me say. He's a very loyal follower of our shows.
I love him. And Bruce is a great, great guy, by the way.
6 to 5 on She's Delightful, I think from a lot of people watching who didn't have a huge betting interest in this race. Now they're rooting for the 15.
How could you not?
3 to 5 on the 1?
It's really strange. I mean, this is an odd situation. I'm not saying the 1 can't win. I mean, probably 1 or 15 are going to win, but I don't think this horse is supposed to be favored. To believe it or not, here's the situation, guys. I'm going to say that at 6 to 5, the 15 horse in this race, She's Delightful, is value. Value is not about how much you pay.
She's that much better.
I don't think she should be the second choice in this race. I think she's better than even money to win this race because it's close to it. At worst, a coin flip, and she's the faster horse. I'm not saying she's going to win, absolutely, but she is a good bet at 6 to 5.
She's the last in line. There she is. Let's send it upstairs. Here's Larry Colmus.
They're off. And Forever Daisy had a very good beginning. On the inside, Shanghai Dreams comes on through to grab the lead. She's Delightful will be 3rd early on. And then it's Tiffany's Freud and Carlisle Bell. Racing for the turn, Shanghai Dreams and Joel Rosario lead the way a half a length. Forever Daisy on the outside gets a bit closer now, and She's Delightful is just off the top two, running in third, past a 22.75 first quarter mile. Carlisle Bell is fourth, some 4.5 lengths off the lead midway on the turn, and Tiffany's Freud at the back of the pack. Forever Daisy, 3/4 of a length ahead of Shanghai Dreams, as She's Delightful begins to gain on the outside, now up into second. Shanghai Dreams under pressure has lost ground to the top two. It is now third on the inside, then Carlisle Bell. They're into the stretch. The half was 46.47, and it is Forever Daisy and She's Delightful, and these are the two coming to the 8th pole, and She's Delightful takes over, pulls away from Forever Daisy. Carlisle Bell is third, as Jose Ortiz is going to win his third on the card here. She's Delightful running away to victory. Forever Daisy's going to be 5 lengths behind her on the wire, and Carlisle Bell was third, followed by Shanghai Dreams.
Oh, and he's not wasting any time. Nicholas going straight to the winner's circle. It's picture time. She's Delightful with the victory.
He just did a little
dabbed?
bit of he dabbed, I think.
Nice.
Oh,
he's dabbing.
He told us she was going to win.
I love it. Best tout. He's 1 for 1.
Listen, Jose Ortiz had the utmost confidence the entire way, and we said it before. You said it, Greg, in the middle of the race. You said, well, the one's already finished. I mean, she didn't barely made the half-mile pole. The one should never have been favored in this race. This was clearly the best dirt horse going in. Win or lose, 6-5, a big overlay.
Yeah, Forever Daisy, the 8, had the measure of the 1 halfway through the race, and then Jose unleashed the 15, and the race was over. Carlisle Bell, you know, so many times we sit there, and the main track onlys run first and third, and you're going to get a nice little triple here because they overbet the 1 here and went at 4-5.
Look at that beautiful family celebrating the victory there with She's Delightful at 6-5. Hopefully,
kudos to Mom for the coordination.
I know that was
well
Bruce,
done. I know Bruce ain't putting that all on. No way. Good job by his wife.
He's got too much details to worry about around the barn. Let Mom handle the wardrobe. 6-5 at the end, 15-8, 14-1. Cam Newton has nothing on Nicholas Brown with the dabs. We'll be back with the prices from the 8th setup race 9, our nightcap, when we come back here on Belmont Park Live.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb was the leading freshman sales sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including stakes winners Autumn Warrior and Orvolution, stakes performer Scrapper, and TDN Rising Star Explorer. In the sales ring, his progeny continue to sell well beyond his stud fee, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga, classic winner, classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching Belmont Park Live. Race number 8 in the books, and She's Delightful was just that here today for trainer Bruce Brown. And Bruce, clever entering by you, I would say, having all this rain in the forecast and stuck her in the MTO.
Yeah, you know, we were kind of planning on giving her a little more time. Ran her 3 times in Saratoga, which was kind of, probably wasn't the best thing to do, but, up there you try to take your best shots. But then when this spot, came up with the rain, it just kind of threw her in here, at the last minute, and worked out.
And Bruce, I'll say that she seemed to be a lot more relaxed here at Belmont, because sometimes at Saratoga, the crowds and everything got to her, and she just put it all together today.
Definitely, yeah. Saratoga is all, if nervous horses that can be nervous are very nervous up there just with the whole atmosphere. But she's very good today, and I think she kind of appreciated the bigger turns and the bigger surface here, and so she did everything right, and hopefully move on from here.
It's always a family affair with you. How cool was it to see Nick on TV?
Yeah, they had school today, so thank God it was kind of a later race, so it was good to get them all out here, and it's always the best.
Is it rewarding when you can share it with your family that they're as enthused about, your career and your life as much as you are?
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps that they love coming out here. They love this part, but they really love being at the barn and being around the animals, around the horses. So that's kind of how I got into this, and now kind of see, that they can do whatever they want, but at least they love it and they enjoy being around the horses.
It's always good to see you guys, especially in the winner's circle. Bruce, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always a family affair here with the Browns.
Bruce Brown and family. There's Nicholas getting the job done.
They are color coordinated for the win. You want a picture? You want a copy of the winner's circle, Greg?
Congratulations. She's delightful, by the way. Mission Impossible. We've seen a lot of these ones in the winner's circle, New York bred. Out of the elusive quality mare, one of your faves, Chimichurri. I know you like those. Had those at the fairs before, the state fairs. They're tasty.
Well, from my Fairplex days.
Yeah, you get fried Oreos.
Todd
and
Fletcher,
chimichurri.
Todd Fletcher trained Chimichurri. Wayne
That
Lucas,
could be a good call.
somebody like that.
Good horse.
NyraBet's
She
Late
was.
Pick 5 follow along. So we've got a lot of people alive at this point.
Yeah. They're actually not as bad as you think.
They're okay. I mean, listen, it hasn't. I mean, I think the races were more open than the prices suggested.
Yeah.
But to me, the 15 was the biggest single on the sequence, except she ended up not being favored. So clearly, a lot of people didn't agree.
Our finale coming up. It's a $20,000 maiden claiming event. That NyraBet's Late Pick 5. Again, always worth being part of it. Just a little more time to play it in 2018. So take advantage each and every day. Mile and 16th here, $20,000 maiden claiming race coming up. Curlin's New Moon. The 2 is the 9-5 favorite right now?
Yeah, I think the 1 or 7 metaphorical, or the 7 gravitating, both off the claim, will end up being the first and second choice. But new gelding for this one. David Argona picked. A little early money out of respect for David, who does have a sensational opinion.
All the money going to the 2 horses that are changing something, right? New barns on the 1, and like Candy said, gelding on the 2.
They love claims too, right?
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Grade 1 fields, they have been drawn. Diversifier Whitney winner back in action for the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And Arlington Million winner Robert Bruce back in action in the Joe Hirsch coming up this weekend. We'll talk about both fields next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NyraBets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NyraBets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
1 furlong to go in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. It's Lawyer Ron fully extended. Carlin running his heart out today. Down to the finish. Lawyer Ron. Carlin coming with those giant strides to defeat Lawyer Ron. Carlin wins by a head.
And Carlin has power. Housing home. Hard spun. Street Sense did not go on. And it's all Carlin in the race of the year. For horse of the year, it's Carlin in an absolutely stylish performance. Carlin and Robbie Alvarado win it easy to Hard Spun.
Carlin, one of just 3 to accomplish the Jockey Club Gold Cup and Breeders' Cup Classic double in the same season. What a performance, and that's quite a list.
Yeah, that Breeders' Cup Classic, I think, is going to go down. A lot of people don't realize how good of a field he did beat. It was Street Sense, Any Given Saturday, and Hard Spun left in his wake.
Can Diversify join that elite group? He's going to try and take that first step coming up this weekend, coming off that big performance in the Whitney.
I mean, I just don't see anybody going with him. Mendelssohn, I guess, but wow, he is fast and he likes to flaunt his speed.
Withstood that 41-minute weather delay at Saratoga. It did not impede him at all. And remember, there was a huge long shot entered in this race that said, oh, absolutely, we're getting the lead. That's the only reason we came. They didn't get the lead. Diversify got the lead.
He's a rocket ship.
He is.
Mendelssohn can try to run with him, but he better have his running shoes on to run with this horse early.
No, that's completely right, because the faster he goes, it seems like he's better.
Meanwhile, Gronkowski, things did not set up for him, certainly in the Travers that day, but at the Belmont, which we're looking at here, this was his U.S. debut. Didn't break well, but boy, did he make up ground late.
Yeah, I want to tell you something. I think the difference between, one of the differences between his Belmont and his Travers is he's a horse that just doesn't want to be engaged early. He's not fast early. He wants to just drop back. Similar to how Zenyatta dropped back in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Just not fast enough to keep up early and sort of dropped out of the race, but made his run. In the Travers, when he dropped back a little at the start, Joel Rosario rode him a bit to try to get him into the race and not drop back. And it felt to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but it felt to me like he got rank after that. And that prevented him from having some closing kick. Now, I agree, Greg. The race did not set up for him. The best he could have been was a distant second. But I think they're going to have to let him do what makes him happiest and hope that he can put in his run towards the end. And obviously hope that Diversify gets challenged early or doesn't run his race.
Can't forget Thunder Snow now. He is a classic winner.
He is. I don't love his performance in that Dubai World Cup as much as everyone else has. Slow fractions. The speed didn't go with him. Didn't break out of the gate.
These goofy Godolphin horses that do well in the Dubai World Cup do not have a great history of performing well in other races, in other jurisdictions.
Did set a track record, though. Stakes record in that race. Joe Hurst Turf Classic. Robert Bruce back for more. He has just one defeat on his resume, and he bounced back out of that defeat to win the Grade 1 Arlington Million.
Yeah, and this was a nice stretch run. He really likes... He sort of swung off cover and left-handed in the middle of the racetrack, and he just starts exploding the Chilean bred, and he's getting better and better. I always thought that the distances getting longer are better for him, but he's striding out nicely at the end of this race.
Wasn't for traffic trouble, he'd be undefeated.
That is true, actually.
And, of course, Channel Maker won the Bowling Green in that dead heat with Glorious Empire, and he ran very good in the Sword Dancer as well.
You know, you could argue, well, he was second in the Sword Dancer, and the speeds ran around the track together, but at least he was making a run towards the winner of this race. And he's a horse that's had some trips, and Belmont has shown a lot of confidence in him. He can get the 1.5 miles, and he's in good form, and I think he's good enough to have a chance to win. I also feel a little bit like he's going to be a forgotten horse in this race, that he might just be a better price than he should be. And after Robert Bruce, I think the race is fairly open. Does Robert Bruce have to win?
No, I don't think so. Sadler's Joy, he seems like every once in a blue moon he'll throw in a good one. You know what I mean?
Runs pretty well, no.
Yeah.
And we'll see how. I think the turf condition will come into play. Obviously, they'll have a chance to dry out today. The question is, will we get some showers on Friday? If not, we'll be on the yielding side of good, but still.
Meanwhile, maybe the most impressive performance of the entire meet that we saw at Saratoga, you can make an argument it was in the Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, Imperial Hint was extremely impressed in Vanderbilt. Now, to be fair, he was meeting a very soft field for a Grade 1. And when horses win this impressively visually, it often is a function of their talent, along with the relative talents of the others, and there wasn't much. The problem is he might actually be meeting a weaker field in the Bosberg than he met, where at least Switzerland was behind
no doubt,
him.
right?
Well, Switzerland finished well behind him, came back and won the Francis Dash over the weekend. Yeah. So he was meeting some reasonable quality horses. This is a field of generally claimers that he's meeting in this race. He will be 1-5 in here, and he will likely win like a 1-5 shot should, despite what Greg Wolf thinks.
What do you think, Greg? He likes to go to the front end, right? He didn't even get that.
No,
he didn't even get that, and he just circled. I feel like they were all tied to a tree. I just don't, he might just go to the front and crush.
If it was Europe, they'd be prohibited. There'd be no betting on him.
It's going to be a public paid workout.
I would look at the show pools in that race if they
Breeders'
have it.
Cup winning your in schedule. Joe Hirsch, Fosberg, Jockey Club Gold Cup, and then the following weekend, Champagne Flower Bowl, Futurity and Frizette. So a lot of action still to come that we'll see horses punch in their tickets to the Breeders' Cup and maybe some new young 2-year-old stars emerging as well.
No, looking forward to those turf races as well. We're gonna see Todd Pletcher's horse in the Pilgrim on Saturday, Opry, that was so impressive up in Saratoga, and one of the most impressive 2-year-olds, the Philly newspaper of record. She'll be coming back in Sunday's Miss Grillo, a race that Chad Brown has successfully used to vault towards Breeders' Cup Juvenile Philly wins on a number of occasions, including Lady Eli.
I still remember after she won. I've never seen you so excited about a debut performance.
I had heard about Newspaper of Record for quite a while, and you know, I'm friendly with the connections, and I mean, because I obviously heard she was good, but man,
yeah,
I mean, you know, because you often hear these horses are good, and then they might win, and they're sort of underwhelming, or they lose, and boy, did she deliver.
9th race, mile and 16th, our nightcap, $20,000 maiden claiming race coming up. We're going to check in right now with Maggie Wolfendale. It's Paddock Report time, brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Bayern for $15,000.
Thank you, Greg. And we'll check in with the rail runner. That is number 1, Metaphorical. First off the claim for trainer Ray Handel. And I'm sure Andy will bring up the other horses that Ray has claimed off of Chad Summers, in that he's done pretty well with them. Mamo and Shamrock come to mind. This guy, though, is stretching out in distance for the first time. Granted, he only has to do it around 1 turn here with this mile and a 16th. And he is a son of Distorted Humor. Granted, physically, he doesn't quite look like one that would be very successful in stretching out. But what I will say, despite him being smaller in stature and a little bit more compact, he's very evenly framed, in that his hind end and his shoulders and withers are very much on the same kind of plane. And that usually speaks of a horse who can successfully get a little more ground. So otherwise, he looks fantastic here. And same thing can be said for the other short price runner in here in number 2, Curlin's New Moon. He comes back as a new gelding for Jimmy Ryerson. He looks great. He's nice and calm and relaxed and focused in here, and I like what I see from him. I can't fault him at all, as he is taking some money as well as gravitating in here. A horse that I'm a bit interested in is one that doesn't have that many starts, in number 5, Somebody. One that is trying long for the first time on a dry track. And what I like here is that, although he does have that look in his eye like he might do something here when the rider gets up, he has been a lot more calm than what I've seen from him in the past as far as saddling is concerned. So I appreciate that with him. So we'll see what he does here stretching out this Son of Mine shaft. I'm of the mind that he might run better than what his odds may suggest as of now for Jimmy Bond. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you very much. We're going to have our post-parade here coming up in just a moment. 11-1 on Somebody. We'll be stretching back out.
I just keep hoping that one day he'll run. And the truth about Somebody is his debut wasn't that bad. He met much tougher horses. He didn't run horrendously. He has not run well subsequent to that, but maybe stretching out and dropping will help.
Meanwhile, gravitating in action. Back on May the 17th. This was 3 starts back on a sloppy track. This was a race that was taken off the turf.
But man, has his form dissipated since then. The thing he has going for him is that he was claimed by Rudy Rodriguez, and we'll show the stat perhaps afterwards, but Rudy Rodriguez is 14 for 24 off the claim with maidens on the dirt, with an ROI of $5.86, including a big price winner at Saratoga. So the record, and the trainer says he's supposed to run back to his better races, which would make him very tough.
Yeah, and I think Rudy wants to stretch this horse back out, which he's going to do to mile 16th, and there is that stat. Amazing, 58%. Looks well in the paddock, and this gelded son of astrology is taking some money at the window.
First off a claim. Maiden dirt race, last 5 years, 58%.
Okay.
For, you mean off the claim with the maidens. It's incredible. He had a big priced winner from Chad Brown in Saratoga that won a maiden special off a maiden claiming race. But there's another trainer stat in this race that's pretty scary as well. The stat off the claim with the one metaphorical. I mean, with the record of horses, maybe we'll show it a little bit later, of horses claimed from Chad Summers. It's remarkable.
All right, so we'll have that coming up in a moment here. I want to remind everyone real quick, get signed up, get started, play along, be a new member. You'll get $200 in your account when you play with Naira Bets. Use that promo code Belmont Live to take advantage of that offer to bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. So here is the one, and Andy's going to give us that stat here in a moment here with Metaphorical, now in the barn of Ray Handel.
Yeah, 6 for 10. Horses claimed off Chad Summers in the dirt, all 10 hitting the board. ROI of 460. Ray Handel is very positive on this horse's chances, and he looks like the inside speed. He's going and playing come catch me.
Yeah, sprint speed now stretching out with the perfect draw as well. Here's the 2 Curlin's New Moon. This horse was taking the early money.
Yeah, newly gelded son of Curlin. And lone good race was a maiden 50 when losing by a nose, but has to get back to that race. I don't know about 5-2 though.
Garsoon 38-1 for Leo O'Brien. Has only been on the turf in 3 starts so far.
Tries the dirt for the first time. He can't run worse than he's running the turf.
That's a good point. The venerable
Trying to be optimistic.
Bead blinkers going on for Nick Zito.
128-1 last time on the turf at Monmouth. So let's drop for 20 today and get 28-1.
Yeah, I mean, first time in for a tag. It is a big drop here. There's somebody 11-1 here, James Bond.
I said before, he has a first race that gives him a chance to get a piece in here. And if you like him, and I think he has a chance, the drop down might be able to move him forward.
Clone Samard, Leah Jeremiah, Eric Consell team up 0 for 17 so far.
Sort of runs the same race each time, does this gelding by Samard. Last at least 3 starts ago, a couple third-place finishes.
2-1 favorite, and here is Gravitating. Rudy Rodriguez off the claim with Irad Ortiz Jr.
He has lost his form in recent starts, but Rudy Rodriguez, incredibly dangerous off the claim with maidens.
Cetus Kid, the 8. Joseph Parker, 4 starts and has never hit the board.
Yeah, it has beaten 4 horses home, and last 2 starts ago was 104-1.
Yeah, 4 total in those 4 starts. Uncle Larry on the outside, definitely a player here at 7-2. Jose Ortiz rides for Todd Pletcher.
He's really never done any running his races, but he's never run a claiming race, a maiden claiming race, that is, on the dirt.
Back to the 1 here, and Metaphorical, and here again what Andy was talking about. Horses claimed off of Chad Summers, dirt the last 2 years. Other barns, 6 for 10.
And we saw trainer Ray Handel do it with Mamo up in Saratoga and be successful. And these are horses that have improved. And this is a horse that has shown some ability. Now, he'll have to improve off his best race in all likelihood to win. But you know he's going to go to the lead. And Ray Handel, I think Ray Handel is kind of under-the-radar trainer that does an exceptional job. I'm a big fan of Ray.
And he's got a rider on board who's approaching a milestone as well. Manny Franco closing in on number 1,000 in his career. As you take a look at these other riders, too, chasing some big, big numbers.
Yeah, they are. Johnny V, 24 away from 6,000. Javier about a dime behind him. You forget Luis Saez almost got 2,000 wins, and then Manny could get 7 closer.
I'm a big Manny fan.
Yeah, by the way, how about the work on Metaphorical and the horses taking money? I could work 54 and 4 furlongs. That's just showing you.
I don't know if I could crack 55.
Could be blasting out of there, the one.
Gonna be the one to catch, no doubt. And yeah, not gonna stay 3-1, right?
What price you going? No.
3-1, I'm all in. Quick break, we'll be right back. Nightcap coming up from Belmont.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome in third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a 2nd time. To Belmont, adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close 2nd in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Belmont Park Live, as always, brought to you by Claiborne Farm on a picture-perfect Wednesday afternoon here. Horses out on the track for the nightcap as we're checking in with your current 2-to-1 favorite. That's number 7, Gravitating. And boy, has this horse fallen from grace, to be quite honest, as he'll make his first start for Rudy Rodriguez. And while he is moving fine out on the track, I actually like the way he's warming up. I didn't love him in the paddock. He just seems to be a horse that's really kind of lightened up and lost all the muscle mass that he once had. The fact that he is taking money and he goes out for Rudy first time, yes, those are things to like. But the fact that the way his form has gone and the way he's gone physically just make me want to take somebody else. As number 9 on the outside, currently at 3-to-1, is Uncle Larry. As you heard Andy say, first time running for a tag on the main track, and the cheapest tag at that. Watching his replays, he just looks slow, to be honest, for Todd Pletcher. But Todd is a guy whose horses physically, they look great, and he does. He came in and out of the paddock on the muscle, on his toes. He's warmed up quite nicely and somewhat aggressively for a horse who doesn't have that much early speed. So I'm on the more optimistic end with him. But guys, here I'm going to take a shot with number 5. Somebody, I like the way he warmed up. I'm just looking for a bit of a price here, especially when you're dealing with maiden 20s.
Well, somebody the 5, thank you, Maggie, dropping to the lowest level he has been at yet in his career, and start number 4 coming up. And he's double-digit odds on the board.
Well, his first start, he didn't get off to a great start, and he sort of ran around the racetrack. Then they bet him next time, and he ran over a muddy racetrack, then the drop, and it just has not worked out. Blinkers, but he keeps getting bet. So obviously he's been working okay in the morning for him to get bet in the afternoon, but he has to show something today, because he's not getting bet today on the drop to 20.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna, well, he's also he hasn't done enough to get bet, but you want to sort of be optimistic. You say, okay, his first race he ran a 60 buyer. It was his debut. It was a tough maiden special field. Then he caught a muddy sealed track at Belmont. Okay, he hated the mud. Then he comes back at Saratoga and just gets run off his feet. He comes back 3 months later. They're blistering out of the gate, a 44 to the half, and a horse just runs off in the front end. He's just run off his feet. Now he's going a mile and a 16th. He's meeting a maiden 20 field. I mean, today is the day. If he can run it all, he's supposed to at least show up. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but he's supposed to run a little bit today. And he's 9-1. So to me, you know, let's say you're like, say the 7. Okay, the 7 horse in this race, who Maggie wasn't thrilled in the paddock, said you look good in the track, but didn't love him in the paddock, for Rudy Rodriguez. Rudy's got these great numbers off the claim, but I don't think he was claiming a horse that he thought would run as poorly as he did last time out. So maybe he just can't run anymore. And suddenly a horse like the 5 becomes a very viable horse to use. Maybe you think the 1 is the speed, the 2 the new gelding, and try to get him in there somewhere. That's my plan. I boxed 1, 2, 5, and try to get the 1 in for second, mostly behind, the 5 in for second, mostly behind the 1. That's my plan, and that's what I'm doing.
What's your thoughts on the 7?
Well, he's a tough read because, you know, the stats are right there in front of you, and Rudy's so good at it, and the horse is getting played. I do think the 9 Uncle Larry is a horse that will hit the board and can be a reliable horse for you. I just think for 20 that he has to run a little bit better than he's been running. But again, This race I think goes between the 1 and the 7. I don't get the 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Gravitating's not going to win. But, you know, it's the other thing is that stat's really potent, but he's 2-1 off bad form.
Yeah.
So how great a bet is he? I'm not saying, you know, Rudy's got these great numbers, and maybe he'll just, you know, find the secret to him, get him back to those earlier races, and he'll win. All of that is extremely possible. But I don't know. And Maggie's saying she didn't love him in the paddock and talking about that.
He's been with a couple of sharp barns, too.
Yeah, it's not like Tony Dutch was a dope. And so I'm a little concerned about this horse. And Jeremiah had him, you're right.
Gravitating the 7. He's the 2-1 favorite. Here's our nightcap coming up. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call to close things out. Here is Larry Colmus.
And here is Uncle Larry moving up to the outside stall and going in. They're all in line. They're off, Gravitating at a very good beginning. Rushing through on the inside. Here comes Metaphorical to grab the lead, and Uncle Larry is third on the outside as they race up the backstretch. And then comes Somebody, followed by the Venerable Bead. Farther out, Clone Simard is next, and then comes Garsoon, and Curlin's New Moon is 5 lengths off the lead on the rail. Sea-Disc Kid is way out of it early as they run through the opening quarter mile in 24.7 seconds. Metaphorical, the leader, at an easy pace on top by 1.5 lengths with less than 6 furlongs to go. Gravitating is second. Somebody is third on the outside. The Venerable Bead is fourth along the rail. Uncle Larry follows in fifth. Curlin's New Moon gains sixth on the inside. Then Clone Simard, followed by Garsoon. And way back is Sea-Disc Kid, trailing the field. 48.52 was the half mile. They're racing into the far turn. Metaphorical, the leader, 3/4 of a length to Gravitating in second. Somebody is moving up on the outside into third. The Venerable Bead is fourth. Clone Simard fifth. Uncle Larry's under pressure on the outside, 5.5 lengths off the lead, and then Curlin's New Moon. Making their way around the far turn. It is Metaphorical, the leader. All the way so far, 3/4, 113.37 seconds. Metaphorical turning for home in front by 1.5 lengths. Gravitating is second, Somebody is third, and then it's Clone Simard. Coming down to the final furlong, and Gravitating is bearing down on Metaphorical. Metaphorical drifts out. Gravitating draws up alongside. Gravitating to the front. Gravitating has taken the lead from Metaphorical. Somebody is third. They're coming down to the wire, and it's going to be Gravitating to win it by 2.5 lengths over Metaphorical. Somebody was third, and Curlin's New Moon was fourth.
Gravitating in the stretch, rolls right on by Metaphorical, who was leading the way. Rudy Rodriguez off the claim.
It felt like the one Metaphorical just was going to have this race all to himself, and Gravitating just ran him down. Rudy is 15 for 25 off the claim with Maidens in the dirt. 11 for 11 hitting the board, claimed off Chad Summers. So that stat held, but can't hold off Rudy.
Yeah, but it's just such a great stat because basically after showing you guys those two stats, we said the race is going to run 1-7 or 7-1 basically, and it did. And hopefully, and we said the 5.
And get the 5 in for third.
Yeah, get the 5 in for third, and you get the 9 off the ticket. But
pitch the 9.
Yeah, Manny Franco looked back on the 1, but I guess the 7 with the bottom and a couple other races. And gosh, man, that stat, it just is amazing. Now over 60% on this move, Wolfie.
Irad Ortiz Jr. collects another victory. 7-1-5 to close things out here in the 9th at Belmont. We'll be back with the prices right after this. Gravitating. Rudy Rod off the claim, another victory. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Another segment coming up.
Undefeated graded stakes winner on the track. Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners Taylor Spirit, He Hate Me, and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have brought prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Clayton Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Bless you, Mr. Rosewater.
Back on Belmont Park Live, it's gravitating Rudy Rodriguez off the claim. Irad Ortiz Jr. collecting his second victory of the afternoon.
Yeah, sometimes you cannot ignore the stats, and Andy just came with a great stat, and it pays off. Gravitating, the son of astrology, had the forestry mare, oh so appealing.
Horse won, and the ROI went down.
That's incredible. $5.20 for the win. Standing by with Rudy Rodriguez. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah. Sorry. Rudy always does that to me. Always makes me laugh right before I'm doing an interview with him. But gravitating, Rudy, padding your stats, to say the least. I think you're like 60% first off the claim with Dirt Maidens.
I just got to give all the credit to my brother. He's the one. This is the first time I see it since we claim him.
Thanks, Rudy. Why didn't you tell me to get Gustavo?
No, I always tell you to get him. No, but you know, he said he was training very good and he was coming out to the race in very good shape. We got a hard time getting to E, and it still looked like he can use a little bit more weight, but at least we got the win done.
That is true. Where do you go with a horse like this? Obviously, Aqueduct's coming up, so he's a useful horse to have around then. Rudy, you also own a piece of this horse with Michael Imperio, a longtime client of yours. Is it like that much more fun to win with friends
definitely.
too?
You know, when I'm with Michael, he just make it a lot more easy, and he's one of the best owners you want to have in the game for sure. You know, he don't put you pressure. He just let's do what we have to do, and if we claim a big one, let's just give him away or do something. But it's very good to have him in there, especially when I'm partnered with him. It's making it more special for sure.
Makes your life very easy. Rudy, congratulations here with the Nightcat win.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys, Michael Imperio, I will attest, one of the nicest owners that we have in the game.
Thank you, Maggie. Gravitating, Rudy Rodriguez and company get the job done to close things out.
And Michael's wife, Libby, also very, very involved in Anna House, too, as well. And they are terrific people. Do a lot of good for people.
NyraBets Late Pick 5 follow along. $218. It was formful, small fields today. We weren't expecting fireworks.
I'm going to do the math. 39, 46, 100 and change.
Let's take it to the scale.
The parlay is around under $300 for $2. It paid $872 for $2. If that's not value, I don't know what is.
4 choices, 1 second choice.
2 second choices. The winner of the 8th race was the second choice. We just thought she'd be favored.
Take $218 for that.
What's amazing? I mean,
Weekend, no, it is.
Yeah.
Weekend
3
stakes
times the
schedule
parlay.
coming up Saturday. Got some big time action here.
We're gonna be
3
showing
grade 1s on the card. Yes, we will. Jockey Club Gold Cup, Diversify back in action. Robert Bruce Arlington Million winner in the Joe Hurst Turf Classic, and the Vosburg throwing the Pilgrim for good measure as well. And then the next weekend, some more winning urine races. Yes. So it's going to be a busy couple of weekends
great racing coming up here. You know, if we could just get a little less unlucky with the weather. And, I mean, listen, we know it's tough for the players, and obviously it's tough for us as well. It's tough for the connections to want to run their turf horses. But if things will clear up here, like the last couple weeks in Saratoga and things cleared up, there's going to be some sensational racing here over the last. We've still got almost 5 weeks of racing, 24 more days of racing. So let's keep our fingers crossed for good weather, and the racing will follow.
Hopefully the weather tonight. That's it. It's supposed to be tonight, and then the rest of the weekend, hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate. It's a big, big part of it.
She's delightful. The family, Bruce Brown and company, decked out in pink. Teaming up with our Sugar Bear stable on the main track, only entrant, getting the win back in race number 8. Nicholas, his 2 sisters, Bruce Brown and Dad, getting the win on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll see you back on MSG Plus tomorrow at 4 Eastern. Take care.